Okay, just so you know, we will be recording this session as well, and we'll make this particular one available after the session, most likely on YouTube. I will share a link of the recording so that you will be able to go over it maybe over the weekend. So that's as far as the recording is concerned. But once again, welcome. We will now start our session. My name is Robert Bob Okello, and I volunteer with the UWC National Committee here in Uganda, alongside several other volunteers within the National Committee. The National Committee, as you learn, is basically a group of volunteers within the UWC movement whose sole responsibility is really promoting, the UWC's mission and values within their countries, as well as helping with this process of selection of students and nomination of students within those countries. There are over 155 national committees around the world in over 150 countries and territories around the world. The National Committee is made up of alumni, it's made up of parents, and a lot of other well-wishers who really believe in the UWC mission. So that's briefly about the National Committee. I'm just going to quickly again walk over just a simple presentation about the UWCs before we dive into the actual application portal itself. For those who are joining us for the first time, just to give you a quick recap, but also maybe a recap for those who are really already joined us the other day. But quick recap about what UWC is and all of that. So just a quick one, and then we'll go in. So UWC is a global education movement with a mission to make education a force to unite people, nations, and cultures for peace and a sustainable future. So this really is the mission of the UWC. And this is the mission that guides all the different schools and colleges around the world that belong to the UWC movement. And one of the core pillars, or perhaps ethos, of the UWC, or the United World Colleges, UWC is a short form for United World Colleges, is the fact that education, we strongly believe that education can bring together young people from all backgrounds on the basis of their shared humanity, inspiring them to become agents of positive change. So this really is how we go about then really ensuring that education becomes that force for peace and sustainability in terms of the future, by really selecting young people like you who are applying to become agents of positive change. So we're really looking for change makers in that sense. And these are the qualities we'll be looking for as we evaluate your application as well. Do you really speak to these ideals and ethos of the UWC? In terms of the global reach, today UWC, we have about 18 of the UWC schools around the world on 5 major continents. There are over 4,000 plus national committee volunteers like myself, like I mentioned, in over 150 countries and territories. And the job is to find and select amazing students like you who are joining us here today on the call and those who are applying. Okay. Across the 18 campuses of UWCs, there are over 11,000 students from around the world. And today, the alumni community of the UWCs is comprised of about 60,000 plus alumni. And so here are the different countries where you actually have UWC schools and campuses. And here is just a quick sort of overview of the different campuses around the world, the 18 campuses. You'll see UWC East Africa in Tanzania. In Tanzania, there are actually 2 branches of this. You have a campus in Moshi and Arusha. So these are the different campuses, and every campus is in a sense unique in a way that allows you to really immerse yourself within the local context of that school. But all the schools are guided by the same mission. All the schools are guided by the same set of values, and all the schools will offer the same curriculum, which is the International Baccalaureate Diploma. We'll be getting into that briefly. So in terms of numbers, 18 schools across 5 continents. The average value of a scholarship fund for each student on UWC is actually about $60,000. So you can see it's quite an investment in this education. And like I mentioned, 60,000 plus alumni all over the world. And we have about 83%, that's about 8 in 10 students who will receive some sort of full or partial financial support for them to be able to attend this life-changing educational opportunity. 4,000 national committee volunteers I mentioned around the world, 11,000 current students around the world on the 18 different campuses, 155 countries and territories where students are selected from, and about $61 million in grants and donations have actually been made available to make possible these different scholarships programs for the different students around the world to be able to attend the UWC education. The UWC educational model is quite unique. At the core of it really is this deliberate focus on diversity, which ensures that students are very engaged and motivated in community, members of the community who are all in pursuit of that UWC mission of making education a force to unite people and nations and cultures for peace and a sustainable future. And then within this educational context as well comes in the UWC values. If you've gone through our website, you've seen the 9 different values that really guide the UWC. And then experiential learning is another component of the educational model of the UWC, making sure that learning by doing, right? And that's where the teaching comes in. And then when it comes to the overall experience, you'll realize that because of the IB as a virtue of the educational and academic side of UWC, there is a very enhanced experience where students are focusing on being serviced, actively engaged. There's academic component, the social component, there's a personal aspect to it, and then plenty of outdoor experiences as well. And then you of course have the missional side of things. So we're looking for people who are able to take courageous action, people who live through personal example. And at the core of this is of course the pursuit towards peace and sustainable future and selfless leadership. So these are, in a sense, the qualities that we'll be looking for as well in all the applicants who will be going through this. It's a truly challenging educational experience with very high academic standards that is delivered through the International Baccalaureate Diploma. So this is the curriculum that all the UWCs run across the world, the IB Diploma. And very high value on the experiential learning aspects of community and of course outdoor activities. And then the typical age group for most of the students at UWC is typically between 16 to 19. But we have a few schools that will accept 19-year-olds, but typically we'll have, this is for the last 2 years of high school. We have some UWC schools that offer earlier years of education, but that's not part of the selection process. However, this year, as you learn, we have a unique opportunity to select younger students to join the UWC for a 3-year pilot program. And then we also have short educational programs. As opposed to the 2 years, we understand that not everyone will have the opportunity to attend the 2-year UWC experience. And as such, UWCs have designed short courses to really increase the number of people across the world who can access the UWC educational experience through either summer programs, but really short courses that really immerse you and gives you a sense of what UWC education offers. So like in summary, we talked about a very challenging education experience that is truly rewarding in the end. In Uganda, this year we'll be accepting students from the ages of 14 to 17. Like we mentioned, there's special scholarships who have, for students who have completed senior 3, for those who are just beginning senior 4, but coming from very unique backgrounds. But like we mentioned, there might be cases where some schools may accept, 19-year-olds and all of that. But this is like the sweet spot in terms of age group. And then, of course, we talked about the short educational courses as well. Diversity is a very core aspect of the UWC experience. And that's why national committees like the one here in Uganda exist to ensure that we are selecting students from all corners of the world, but also from all backgrounds. So whether you are coming from a very, remote area, to, from peasants, children of peasants like myself, to royalty, everyone is welcome at the UWC. And that's a very unique thing about the UWC educational model as well. But that's all to ensure that the campuses are very diverse and rich in terms of these experiences to provide a truly holistic educational experience. Okay. By the way, this is a photo taken from UWC Adriatic in Italy, I think one of the national days. As you can see, the number of flags here really paints a picture of the level of diversity in all the UWC campuses. Okay. And the national committees are the ones that really ensure this diversity. Okay. Now, the UWC education, is only for 2 years for the most of it, which is the last 2 years of A level in Uganda. So UWC is equivalent to A level here in Uganda. But beyond UWC, you have a very clear pathway to university as well. So the challenging and highly respected curriculum that UWC offers means that most of the alumni will be accepted at the world's leading universities. And in many cases, a lot of these graduates will end up being offered scholarships by world-leading universities, which seek them out, of course, as a result of the reputation of the schools, but also because of the experience itself, which makes them very valuable additions to university campuses around the world. Today, there are close to 11,000 UWC alumni who have been supported by the Davis UWC Scholars Program since the year 2000. This is the largest privately funded scholarship in the world, and it's exclusive for UWC alumni only. There are about 99 partner universities in the US, including all the 8 Ivy League schools who are members of this. And this is really to kind of paint a picture of what happens beyond UWC. I know a lot of students and mostly a lot of parents are always very, very concerned about what happens after the 2 years. And I think here is a clear demonstration of the opportunities that are available beyond the 2 years of UWC, having access to universities that in many cases you would never have access to without UWC education, and having it fully accessible because of the different financial arrangements through scholarships, thanks to the Davis UWC Scholars Program. Okay, so we also see that there's a multiplier effect that emerges as a result of this UWC experience. A lot of the alumni will, in many cases, return to their home countries to work or even study, but in many cases, having very meaningful contributions to their local communities in whichever field they choose to be. And this is because the UWC education truly empowers you to become a leader and become a change maker that will have lasting impact in the community around you, wherever you might be in the world. And so that is, again, something that we are looking for. People will demonstrate these qualities of really caring about their communities, and we show and demonstrate the potential to be contributors in their local communities. Now, the UWC education is possible because of the many partners around the world that actually we work with as a movement, whether from the academic point of view, of course, in the National Baccalaureate, which is the key architect of the curriculum that UWC offers, to a lot of other entities that either make it possible for us to support scholarships and all sorts of enriching experiences for students. So here you can just see a couple of them. Last year, our national committee selected 21 students and nominated them to the different schools around the world. And this year, we will be having 23 scholarships. So the selection is to find these 23 outstanding learners who are going to represent Uganda in the different campuses. So 23 scholarships. This is a combination of 4, they're partial, and in some instances, we have unfunded places as well. But this is where we are this year in terms of the offers we have received. But like I mentioned at the beginning, we also have 3 unique scholarships that are only for those who have completed Senior 3 or its equivalent. Those will be starting their Senior 4 by August this year. And so this is a pilot that will be a 3-year sort of scholarship that allows us to take and support students who would otherwise not be able to have an enriching experience in just 2 years. So the additional years really help them with adjusting to the context of UWC and all of those. So these are typical students coming from very challenging backgrounds. So it's a very highly selective program, these 3 scholarships, and it's the first time we are doing this. And like I mentioned, for Uganda's case, thanks to this unique scholarship opportunity we have to pilot, we will be accepting applicants from the ages of 14 upwards upon entry. Okay. Now, like I mentioned, especially for the upper age limit, some exceptions may be granted by the schools, but that's on a case-by-case basis. So 14 to 17 is the standard age group for our students. Okay, now let's begin to really shift gears and talk about the application itself. Okay, here are the core requirements. First, we'll need you to submit, of course, a copy of your photo ID. This could be a national ID, it could be a passport bio page, could be a refugee ID, student ID, any sort of form of identification. Now, we have received concerns from people who completely have none of these IDs, especially from, let's say, from some of our refugee students, for example. In this case, you may submit your birth certificate. Okay, you may submit your birth certificate. If you have no form of valid photo ID, okay, in that case, a birth certificate will work. The second thing, which is really aspects of the essays now, there are going to be 3 essays that I will ask you to submit. The first one is a personal introduction, and you'll note that all of these are 300 words. So we don't really want you to spend a lot of time in, as if you're doing another sort of exercise, exam or test. No, but we just want to, help. We want you to help us to know you. We want to get to know you better. Okay. So we've given you 3 prompts here, and we'd like you to really be keen on this. But even before we get into this essay parts, the applications should be handwritten, okay? So I think this is a very important instruction, okay? So the essays you're submitting here, you should have written them by yourself, okay? Handwritten. We want to actually make sure that it's you who is writing this. And now the person introduction, the prompt is really asking you to think about someone you admire as a change maker. The key here is someone. You may admire many people. We have received calls of people. Can I write about 4 people? The prompt is very clear. Think about someone, not some people, okay? And this could be anyone you admire as a change maker. It could be someone it could be maybe a parent, someone from your community. It could be a historical figure, really someone you admire as a change maker. But we want to know what qualities or actions in that person that you have chosen inspire you, and how do you intend to incorporate those elements into your own journey as a change maker. So this really is not very much about that particular change maker you admire, but it's about you, okay? So the question really is about you. Remember, at the end of the day, we want to get to know you better, all right? So pay keen attention to that. The second essay, which is a 3rd requirement, is a short essay. And here we're asking you to imagine you have the opportunity to collaborate with renowned experts in any field for a week, 7 days. Who would you choose? And what innovative project would you propose to transform your community? So think of renowned experts in any field for a week. It could be in the field of agriculture. It could be in the field of healthcare. It could be in the field of education. It could be in the field of mental health, whichever field that you pick. Who are some of those renowned experts, okay, that you would choose? And we want you to come up and share with us an innovative project you'd propose so that you can collaborate with these renowned experts to transform your community. Again, this is about you and your community now. Okay, so we want to really understand your thinking process, your choice of experts, and what sort of issues are important to you. That's what we want to see here. But the goal here is to help us, again, get a different dimension of who you are as an applicant. All right. So choose a field, choose experts, select innovative projects that will really help us to get to know the things that inspire you. What are the things that motivate you? What are the things in which you have interest in? All right. And the 3rd essay, which is the 4th requirement, again, 300 words, is if you could have any superpower for 24 hours. So think of any superpower, whether it is to fly, whether it is to turn air into water, whatever superpower it is, okay? If you could have any superpower for 24 hours, what would you choose? What superpower would that be? And what would you do with it, okay? What would you do with that superpower? So this is a very, distinct set of essays to really help us get to know you. Again, they should be handwritten in your own handwriting, okay? Very, very important in that sense. Okay, we move on to a few more requirements. You need to submit at least 1. Now, if you're able to, we would prefer you can submit 2 personal references. These are recommendations. coming either from your school head teacher or principal or a school teacher that really, really knows you. Or it could also come from a very influential leader within your community, that really knows you. The goal here is someone that really, really knows, that can give an independent account of who you are and really speak to your character and personality and really do you justice in sense of just helping us get to know you. So the goal of this really is for us to get to know you better through someone that knows you. Okay, that's what this is all about. And we have been receiving calls. Maybe schools are closed, and it doesn't have to be handwritten. For the school reference letter or the reference letters, whoever is writing your recommendation can type. They don't have to have it handwritten. Okay. In fact, they should just type it. So you can just call them if they're in a different part of the country, explain to them why you need this recommendation, that you're applying for UWC, and you'd really appreciate if they can, give a very honest recommendation for you, and then they can scan it or share it to you via a PDF, either on WhatsApp or email. Okay, so you don't have to be physically in the same place as the recommender. I know we've been getting calls about that. That now I'm very far away and I don't have time to travel to the recommender. You don't have to be in the same place. Just call them, explain to them why you need this recommendation, and they'll be able to support you. Okay. Now, the last set is, of course, the official school report. So here we will, of course, want to understand a bit more about your academic potential. Like we highlighted earlier, the IB, which is the International Baccalaureate, that's the academic component of the UWC experience, is quite demanding. It's very challenging. So here we want really to be able to assess your potential to thrive at the UWC. And all of these things we're asking for are the things that schools are going to be requesting for. But at the end of the day, we just want to do our best as a national committee to ensure that we are positioning you to succeed. Okay, we want you to get to UWC and thrive when you're there. And that's why we are asking for some of those things and the essays, the writing samples. We just want to get to know you better so we can make the best match possibly we can. All right, as far as matching you to the right school is concerned. But at the end of the day, it is our joy to see you succeed during your UWC experience and beyond. All right, that is at the end of the day what we are trying to achieve as a national committee. So once you have all the 6 components, all right, once you have all the 6 components, you are now ready to submit. And here is the link for you to submit. All right. At this point, if you have a pen and you don't know how to submit, we've been asking people saying, I have all the application components, but I don't know how to submit. Should I deliver it to your offices? Should I take it to the post office? Here are how to submit. If you go to this particular link, that is www.ug.uwc.org/submit. There you'll see a recap of all the 6 components. I'll show that to you shortly. And at the bottom of that page, you'll see a link for you to apply. Okay. This is the preferred way to submit your application. Once you go there, you'll be able to register, have an account, and then I will ask you a couple of questions, and then you'll be able to upload all the documents that you have. Okay, all the 6 components. So that's how to submit. Now, in some instances, we have students from very far away places with limited connectivity. In fact, in many cases, no internet connectivity at all. In that case, the last resort for them is to send their application documents by post office. At this stage, post office is not the preferred way. So do whatever you can to make sure you submit your application online, because you only have this weekend. By Monday midnight, we will be closing the application. So we extended the deadline, like I mentioned. The deadline was meant to be tonight at midnight, but because of the technical glitch that we had that prevented applicants from submitting, we have made the resolution to extend the deadline by the weekend so you can submit on Monday, okay? Just to make up for the time lost during the fixing of the technical issue. So I strongly recommend that you stick to using the online portal to submit your application. Do not send your application via email unless you must, because it's going to be really hard for us to sort and all of that. So the application portal is the most effective way for us to review your applications, okay? So we strongly urge you to use the online portal submit your applications and documents. Do not send it through email. It may get lost in a lot of emails that are there, and it's going to be really hard for us to track it. And remember, we're receiving hundreds of applications, and we have a limited time to review them. So we want the process to be as streamlined as possible. But if you follow all the instructions, we won't have any problems at all, right? So this is how to submit your application. Very important. Before we move on to the portal itself, here are some key dates. So this was meant to be the deadline today, Friday 26th, okay? We have extended this, like I mentioned. Now it is 29th, that is next Monday, okay? So Monday, 29th, 11:59 p.m. East African time, that is when the application will close. So you have the whole weekend and you have the whole day on Monday. At midnight, you should have submitted your application. And the system will automatically close. So you won't be able to do anything after that. Okay, so keep note of that. Now, we will be still, the only date that has changed here is the date for submission, but all the other dates are going to remain the same, unless otherwise. But as far as we are concerned, Sunday the 4th, that's when we will be publishing the shortlisting, the shortlist. So we will review the applications and we shall submit and notify all the shortlisted candidates. The list will be published on our website. So be checking the UWC Uganda website for that shortlist. But of course, we'll also communicate via email. And we will also be coordinating during the week prior to the selection weekend. So Sunday 4th is when the shortlist, you should expect the shortlist. It could come in on Monday, but around this date is when you should start expecting information about whether you have made it to the shortlist or not. And then after that, the weekend following that particular weekend is, of course, now the selection weekend. This is the interviews weekend, where we shall come together and have a lot of fun. We'll have 2 days for the selection, but you will only be invited if you are shortlisted only to one selection day. So either you'll come on the 10th or you'll come on the 11th. We will let you know once you are shortlisted which day you're going to be invited for, okay? We try to do a few things to balance it up in terms of the numbers, making the numbers as even as possible, also balancing things like gender and a few other factors involved. But you will be expected to show up in the day that you've been stated for. And it will come in the morning, most likely dropped by your parents, so we'll find ways of getting there. And then in the evening, your parents will come back and pick you. And we shall be spending the whole day together and having a lot of fun, okay? And I mean it when I say a lot of fun. So it's not your typical interview that you're going to come for. And many of you are going to be very much surprised in a very pleasant way. So once you make it to that point, that's what's going to happen. So these are the key dates for us to pay keen attention to. Now, just to kind of conclude with a few things, here's a quote from the chair of the UWC International Board, Dr. Musimbi Kanyoro. And here she's really speaking to the kind of people we're looking for. In a world that has changed fundamentally, our UWC education is more important than ever in shaping independent, critical and compassionate thinkers, selfless leaders, and agents for change and social progress. I love this quote because it in a way really captures a few very important qualities and traits that we're looking for when we are reviewing your applications. Independent, critical, and compassionate thinkers, selfless leaders, agents for change and social progress. These are the kind of people we're looking for. And I believe that most of you, all of you actually embody this. And the only task you have is to demonstrate to us that you are this kind of person. Okay. And last but not least, is a quote from a former UWC president, Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was the president of UWC from 1995 to 2013 when he passed on. But this quote about the power of education, education being the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world, really speaks to what we believe so strongly here at UWC. We truly believe that education, especially UWC education, is a very powerful tool that we can use to change the world. And that is why we are looking for change makers like yourself to really go through this experience, be empowered to then go back to their communities and make our world a better place. So with that, I'm going to end this presentation and we shall now shift to the application portal, okay? So let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And in the meantime, if we have any questions, you can use the chat. Remember, you can use the chat to actually ask some of those questions and we will be able to answer them. We'll be getting to those questions and we shall be able to answer them. So let me open the application portal. So I'm just going to share a new screen now so that we should. All right. So here we go. All right. So this is so just let me know if you can see my screen, maybe a thumbs up or something. But I'm going to, the first place to go is to go to the UWC Uganda website, okay? And that is ug.uwc.org, all right? ug.uwc.org. This will take you to the UWC Uganda National Committee page, all right? Remember, there are over 150 national committees around the world, and the websites look very similar. So if you don't see UWC Uganda, it means you're most likely in the wrong place or you've ended up in a different country, all right? We want you to be on this particular page. When you come to this page here, you'll find a lot of information, even after applying, to acquaint yourself. Most of the things I was talking about in the presentation are here on this website. You'll see the different schools. You can read about the history of the schools and, you know, all kinds of information are here, all right? So take time to really spend some, you know, to really explore this website. You'll find very useful information about the different aspects of UWC, right? And for you to apply, you see there's a tab here that says apply, okay? So you click on that apply tab, and when you click on that, you'll see there's eligibility criteria and then there's submit application, okay? So here we just say that we are accepting applications, of course, and then, you know, at the bottom of this, there is a PDF document. You can actually download this as well. It has all those details, the things we've talked about in the presentation. But when you see this 2024 applications now open, this actually is an active link. When you click on this link, it will take you to the application portal. On the other hand, when you go back up here on the tab where it says submit application, so in this section, you'll see submit application. When you open this page also bears the link for you to submit the application. So it says start your application today. Again, you'll have a quick recap of all the requirements, the 6 components, okay? And at the bottom of this page, you will see click to apply. So you'll simply click, okay, to apply. And this will now take you to the actual application portal, okay? If it is your first time coming to this page, the number one thing you want to do is come up here and register, okay? So there's a button that says register at the top right corner the first time you visit that application link. So here it is. So we'll ask you to register, enter your first name, enter your last name, enter the names here as they appear on your official documents, okay? Those are the names you want to see here. And then you will enter your email, password, and then confirm password. So what you're essentially doing here is creating an account within the application portal, okay? So this is important because you can, when you have your account, you'll be able to log in. And let's say you're not able to finish the application in one sitting, you can always log out and come back, log in, and continue from where you stopped, okay? So you'll have an account with the UWC Uganda National Committee application portal here, okay? Now, when you finish entering all this information, confirm that you're not a robot and then say create account, okay? So I could, you know, enter my name here. So for example, I'll say Robert, okay? And then I'll enter, okay? And then I'll enter my name. So I'm using this email. This is just a demo, okay? UWC demo at gmail.com, okay? I will enter my password here, okay? I'm going to enter a strong password there, okay? I'll enter a password. Let me see if I can copy that. Okay, I cannot copy that. All right, and then I'll say I'm not a robot. Okay, I'll say that I'm not I'm not a robot, okay? Just to make sure that they know that this is a human being that is completing the application. Let me do that again. So this is just a quick recapture check. Based on your connectivity, it may go right away or it may take a few minutes to run. I don't know why it's not accepting, but once you do this, I actually already have an account here. That's why perhaps it's not allowing me to do that, because this email information is already known. Okay, but I will do that and then say create account. Okay, when I create this account, they are going to send me an email. Okay, to the email you enter here, we will send you a verification email to verify your email address. Okay, a very important step. Make sure you go there and verify your email, and then you'll be able to now log in and continue with your application. Okay, so that is for those who are visiting the link there for the very, very first time. Okay, so let me go back here just one more time. So when you go to that page, it will bring you here. At the top right corner here, you'll see register. Okay, click on register, and then it will take you to this page where we'll ask you to enter your first name, your last name, your email address, and then you will create your password, a unique password, and make sure you don't forget your password. Okay, then say you are not a robot, and then create account. When you click create account and it goes on successfully, you will receive an instant email, a verification email in the email address that you had here. So make sure you're using an email address that is working and that you have access to. Okay, once you receive that email, you just go there and find a link for you to click and verify your email. Once you do that, you can now come back and log in. So again, on the top right corner here, in the same page, you will see login. Okay, if I go back, for those of us who are returning, you'll see there's login here. Okay, so I'll say login, and I will be able to enter my email and the password that I created, and then I'll be able to log in. So let's see if I'm able to log in. Okay. All right. So I will be able to log in here. Okay. So now, after logging in, you will see that there are different, programs there. You should be able to see NC Uganda. Okay. UWC Uganda 2024 applications. This is what you should be able to see. All right. Now, for those who may not see this, if you create an account, you may actually come and look for programs. Okay. You click at programs, and this is where you will be able to search for programs. Okay. Now, if you put Uganda, you'll see that Uganda will automatically appear here. So this is UWC Uganda 2024. Okay. If you don't see it when you log in for the first time, two things. You have to make sure that you follow the link that I showed you. Okay. But you can come and search here for UWC Uganda, and you will see this program appearing here. Okay. So I can say more here. When I say more, you'll see it's going to take me to that page where we are. So here it is. Okay. And you see all the requirements here. All right. Now, because I already have my application, I'm already logged in. So I'll say, see my application. Okay. So you will know when you log in, you'll be able to see this. The task number one to do after creating your application and you've successfully logged in is to come and complete this program eligibility. Okay. So I'll click on the program eligibility here. And this is where now I'll start entering the details of my application. Okay. Now the application has begun here. This is the first step in the application process. This eligibility criteria will ask you for your name, enter your given name. Okay, given name is your first name. If you don't have a middle name, leave it blank. Your last name, you'll put it there. And here we shall ask you which class level best describes you. If you've completed senior 4 or equivalent, you select this. If you've completed senior 3 or equivalent, you'll select this. So it says senior 4, for example. Now remember, like I said, we have two tracks, right? The 23 scholarships for those who have completed senior 4 or equivalent, and there are 3 scholarships, 3 special scholarships for those who have completed senior 3 or equivalent, or those who are just starting senior 4 in that sense, okay? Or its equivalent. You'll select the one that best describes you here, one of the two. This is important because the documents you're going to be asked for is going to be determined by this as well, okay? And then your gender at birth, you will say male. Are you a citizen of Uganda? There are three options here, yes or no. Or you are a refugee resident in Uganda. If you're a refugee resident elsewhere, they won't be able to. Only refugees in Uganda who are resident in Uganda and can prove will be able to apply through the Uganda National Committee. So in this case, I'll say yes. If I were a refugee, I would say I'm a refugee resident in Uganda. Okay. So if you say no, we will automatically take you to whichever country you belong. So that's why it's important to ensure that you're Ugandan citizen here, because these scholarships are for Ugandan citizens and for refugees resident in Uganda. Okay, very important to note. Once I'm done there, I will come here and enter my date of birth. Okay, the date of birth here should match your documents. Very important. Okay. In the past, we've seen people trying to change their date of birth so that they can be eligible. We will verify with the documents. So the date of birth here has to match. So let's say, in my case, my date of birth is in August 27th, 2005. Okay, right. So that's my, wait, I did not select that. This is my, right there. That's my date of birth. Okay. So once you select the date here, select the date, select the year, select the month, select the date, and then close. Click close. Okay, for it to register. Okay. Now here is just a simple note to let you know, like, the age criteria. So this is a group, the age group, the date of birth, the range of date of birth that we are accepting. Okay, that fall within the required age limit. Remember, the age limits are set by the schools. So as a national committee, we cannot do so much about changing the dates or the date of birth, the age. Like we mentioned, it's going to be on a case-by-case basis with the school. So that is why you'll see this date of birth being emphasized a lot. Do you have official school report cards? If you have them, say yes. At this point, you should have them, okay? If you don't, you also say no here, but then you won't be able to really proceed very much. And then we ask you a few things about your citizenship, country of birth, where were you born? So perhaps you're born in Uganda, or maybe you're born in South Sudan and you're refugee in Uganda. Maybe you're born in Burundi, but you're refugee in Uganda. You'll put the country of birth here, okay? And then country of residence. Now, this is where we'll specify. So country of residence has to be Uganda here, okay? And then first nationality. Some people have multiple nationalities. First nationality is Uganda in my case. Second, if applicable, I don't have a second one, so I'll leave it blank, okay? And then my email address, you'll notice that my email address is here. So this will just automatically pick the email address you use to create your accounts. You don't have to do anything here, okay? It automatically populate that. And then phone number. So include country code without the sign. This is important, okay? So this is the phone number here, okay? So country code 256. Do not say plus 256, okay? This is very important because you'll experience errors, and we've seen people having issues with the phone number, all right? So I'll enter the phone number there, and then they'll ask me for my home address. So here, again, we want to know where is your home, okay? So perhaps I will say that my home address is, let's say here, so this is my home address. For me, I'm a village boy, so I come from a village here called Balwala Road, and the village is, for those who live in urban centers, the address may be a plot number this on this street, okay? But we want a physical address, okay? So actually it's Balwala Ward, city of so this is Lira, okay? Lira city, for example. The district is Lira. The country is Uganda, okay? And any additional thing here. Maybe you live in an apartment number this, okay? But this is it, okay? Then once you have entered your address, okay, so the address is just a physical address. We want to know what part of the country you're applying for in essence, all right? And then how comfortable are you in participating in a selection process in English? So just so you know, our selection process happens primarily in English. Okay, so that's why we want to really know that you're comfortable enough. If you're not, you let us know. So we may have to make, uh, some sort of special arrangements to have translator or something of that kind. In the past, we were able to do that because we had some students who couldn't speak, who were not so fluent in English, but they were fluent in French. We were able to find another student who was very good in French that became their translator, for example. Okay, but this is important just for us to really prepare well, so that but English is going to be the main mode of communication during the selection process. Okay, so I'd say that I'm fluent, or I'd say I'm native speaker in English. Besides English, what other languages do you speak? So I'd say I speak uh, I'm going to say speak language, for example, okay? And then name of your current school. So name of current school, I would say this is where you start your senior four, okay? Because for the senior four vacancies, you are at home. So technically you don't have a school, but the school that you start your senior four is what you can use here, okay? So I'm going to say I'm from Ombokolo, SS, okay? Let us say this is my school, okay, my current school. And then email address of current school. We also wanted to know the email address of the school. Sometimes you may be in school when we have to make these announcements, and so we want to reach out to the school and let them know that you've been invited for an interview, whatever information they need to communicate to you. Okay, so school address is important. Sometimes we have to contact the school for a few things here and there. So get the working address of the school. So in this case, I'm going to say Ombokolo SS at gmail, okay, .com. So let's assume this is the email address of my school, okay? In your case, you should not be assuming, okay? You should get the correct email address, okay? Phone contact of your current school, or if you're an S4 leaver, phone contact of the school that you start, okay? So I'm going to put here the phone contact of the school of Ombokolo SS, okay? All right. What class level are you currently attending at school? All right. So in many cases, when these applications happen, sometimes people already began senior five, for example. Okay. So in your case, if you're already started senior four, just say senior five. Okay. If you have started senior three, you will say senior four. Okay. So that's the class level that you'll be attending at the current school level. How did you hear about UWC? This is important information just as feedback for the national committee. So we need to know, perhaps so we can in the future know where we need to put more effort in as far as creating more awareness about these opportunities. So select as many as think. Maybe your friends told you about it, or you also then saw it on social media, perhaps a national committee member, maybe an alumni, or maybe your teacher also told you, perhaps, there was a parent of a UWC alumni that told you. So just select all the options that apply here, okay? Or maybe there was a presentation done at your school by UWC National Committee. So you just select. If you select other, you just describe. Maybe you'll say other and say through radio, okay? Other as well. You say, radio, because we have done some radio outreach as well, okay? So you just do that. Once you do this, you come down here and mark as complete, or save and continue editing, okay? So when you say mark as complete, it will save it, and then let me see. So there's a notification here. Once you mark it as complete, you won't be able to edit it, okay? The most important thing here is to double check that all the information you have entered above are correct, okay? So I'll typically first go ahead, save, and say continue editing, okay? So when you don't hit save, if anything happens, you lose all the information, okay? But not, when I say save and continue editing, I want you to pay attention to this circle, this green circle. It's half green, okay? This means that you haven't completed this process yet, okay? And so you won't be able to proceed to actually submitting your documents. So for you to submit your documents, you have to come all the way down here and mark as complete. This is extremely important. I got about 20 calls today, people saying we cannot proceed to the next stage. It's because they did not mark as complete, all right? So mark as complete. and then say complete task, okay? Once you complete this task, you can now see that there's a full green circle and there's a tick, okay? It means this particular task has been completed. Now, you will be able to proceed to the next task, which is personal information, okay? This is important. You will now be able to proceed to personal information. So under personal information, you click on it, and now we shall ask you for a few things. So maybe you have a very long name like myself and say, okay, what's your preferred name? So the name that you prefer people calling you. So I'll say maybe my preferred name is Bob. It's short, but also you can, it's the same word, whichever side you read it from. So my preferred name is Bob. Whatever the reason is preferred, just put your preferred name. How do you want us to call you? Okay. And then your gender as stated on your passport. So we'll ask you a few more. Remember, the previous information was just eligibility to make sure that you're eligible to apply. Okay. Now here, we're now asking personal information for the application itself. So male, in this case. Now, we want to also make sure that we have information about your parents. Your parents need to be aware that you're applying, perhaps, or you may inform them. But this is just for practical reasons. Your parent or guardian, you may be away at school when we need to reach out to you. So we can contact your guardian or your parent and let them know that maybe you have been shortlisted. Okay. So for whatever reason, we are not able to reach you, we want a backup contact. And the most reasonable is your parents or your guardian's contact details, okay? So you will ask, I will ask for their name here, okay? So I'm going to say, let's say this is my guardian one or parent one. In this case, I'll say my father's contact, okay? Phone number, all right? So phone number, let's put here 752. Let me just put this as the phone number, okay? And then guardian two. So let's say, okay, so here, there has been an issue here. So here is the format, okay? A lot of us have been experiencing this challenge as well. So the format is to see number, number, dash, number, 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 dash. So after the first 3 digits, and this has to be from 0, you put a dash. After the next 3, you put a dash, okay? So this format is the one that is going to work, okay? So the arrow that will show you the format it's used, okay? So 075 dash 239 dash da 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 da, okay? So the first 3 digits, you put a dash, an hyphen. The next 3 digits after that, another hyphen. So this is just a weird format that the system is asking for. So just give the system what the system wants and it will move on, okay? So that's sort of a syntax in that sense. Then I'll go to the next parent. So let's say that, you know, this is my mother's name or guardian 2, wherever the guardian 2 is, all right? And then I'll put their contact as well, okay? Again, so the first 3 digits dash, okay? And then so that's the format, okay? You won't have any issues here. And then they'll ask for your parents or guardians' civil status, okay? There are options here. We want to see if they're currently married, you put married. If they're separated, if they're divorced, so if they're deceased, you'll basically put the details here that are most applicable. So let's say, I'll just say married, okay? If I say married, you can see that questions that come after this will be, basing on, the answer you pick here. So if you say they're separated, you see they won't ask you for the other details. If they're married, they may be married, but do they live in the same home? The cases where the parents are living in different countries, for example, maybe for work or whatever reasons are, okay? In my case, I'll say yes, okay? And then I'll say save and continue editing, okay? Save and continue editing, or you can just click next, okay? When I click next, it's going to automatically mark it as complete, okay? And I'll be able to move on to the next item here. So let's see here, when I say next, now they'll take me to more details about myself. So my email, they're now going to ask me for phone number, including country code, if applicable. So I'll come and select Uganda. You automatically put +256. I put my phone number here, okay? And then I'll come here. So mobile, so I only have one number. So let's say that's okay. Fax if applicable, that's not applicable. mailing address. Okay, so this could be a house number or a street. This could be a name of the road. Okay, so in my case, it is Z is Balwala Road. Okay, and the city was Lira City. Okay, and the district is also Lira. The postcode. Most of us don't have postcode, so this could be like the PO box. But if there's no postcode, just put 2 zeros and 256, just something like that. Okay, and then the country. Make sure you select the country, and it is Uganda here. Okay, now permanent address. If my permanent address is different from my mailing address, then I'm going to enter it here. Okay, so the permanent address is typically the address of where you stay. Okay, so you may be staying in Kampala or perhaps, but your main home address is in Lira, like myself. Okay, so that's a permanent address. It doesn't change all the time in a sense. Okay, so in my case, it's the same. So my permanent address is the same as my mailing address. So I'm just going to leave this blank. Okay, and then I'll say next. Okay. All right. So they're going to ask me, please check your answers below and correct them before continuing. Okay. So let's see here. Why it's showing me that. Oh, I think I did not enter country code here. I did not save that one. So Uganda, I skipped something here. Okay. Again, phone number 752 930. 692. So you'll notice that each time you miss something, the system will automatically let you know what is it that you missed. Okay. So let's see here. Save and continue editing. All right. So that is accepted. And then I will say next. Okay. So save and continue editing before you say next, because sometimes information isn't automatically saved. Okay. All right. So now I'm at 66%. Further information here. So here we'll ask you, we do several short courses like I mentioned. Okay. So would you like to be considered for a short course? So this is not you applying for a short course. It's simply saying that if there are opportunities, so let's say in the event you don't get selected to join UWC, but we have a short course available, would you like us to let you know about it? Okay, that is what this question is saying. So here just say yes, and then we'll ask you for your level of English. So you'll see the levels of English will be ranging here from A1 all the way to C2. Okay, A1 is beginner. And then C2 is the highest level here on the scale, which is mastery or full proficiency. So if you have been through the Ugandan school system for all this time, your English is very good. It's either advanced or C2. So let's say you're very comfortable in both spoken and written English. You'll go and say C2 here, right? Then, did you speak other languages? Most of you do, you'll say yes. And this is where we'll ask you to provide those languages. So in my case, I could say that I speak, this language of the Lira people, and I'll say I'm very fluent there. I'll say I speak some Luganda, but my Luganda is very little. It don't allows me to bargain the borders in Kampala. So I'm going to say it's maybe elementary. Okay, so you list all the languages you speak here and be very honest about your level of proficiency here. Okay, you won't score so many points for saying you speak a lot of languages and you actually don't. This is just for us to know that what other language you're proficient in. This is important because when you go to UWC, you'll be required to take a second language. All right, so if you already have some background here, it could help in the subject selection in terms of what language to choose. So for example, maybe you speak Norwegian like myself, okay? But here, I'm very intermediate, for example, okay? So you have the options here, up to 5 languages. Do you play any musical instrument? So when I say no, be there. If I say yes, they're going to say provide details. Here you tell us which instruments you play, okay? Maybe you play the guitar, you play the piano, maybe you play the violin. You just give details of the instruments that you play here as well, okay? In my case, unfortunately, as people were, learning instruments, for me, I was just eating posho. So I'm just going to say no, okay? So there's no crime in saying no. All right. This again is just for us to know again for subject choices. Some schools offer musical subjects as well. So this again helps in that subject selection. Once I'm done, I'll say mark as complete. All right. So I'm done with that stage. Okay. So you can see each of the stages before this leads to the next stage. So once I'm done with the personal information, and the way you know that you have completed a particular stage or task is to see a circle, a green circle with a white tick in the center. Okay, this is the mark of completion. That means you're ready to move to the next stage. And now the next stage here is where, or perhaps it's even the last stage, is now where you'll see you'll be able to upload all the documents. Okay, so now you'll come here in academic information, and this is where you will start to upload. So here we're going to ask you if you have completed S4. Okay, let me see here. So when you say completed S3, you can see it's only going to ask you to do, it's going to ask activate the senior threes here. Now, we have been experiencing a glitch. So when I say completed S4, you can see it's only asking me for the S4 results. However, when you say you have completed senior three, what it's supposed to do is actually hide the senior four stuff. But we have seen that there's been a technical glitch and it's not hiding the senior four stuff. Okay, so if you're senior three, go ahead and upload S3 term 1, term 2, and term 3 reports. Okay, when it comes to these sections, go ahead and just upload the S3 term 3 reports for all of them. Okay, this is for those who are applying for senior 3. On the back end, first you'll see that you have uploaded all the senior 3. Will know that you actually you're applying for the senior 3 scholarship. Okay, because you cannot leave any of these uploads blank, unfortunately. So that's why. Okay, so you will be able to upload all that here. So that's in terms of the report cards. Okay, when it comes to the other one, the first essay. Okay, this is where you'll. The first essay. You also click on that, and you'll see that you'll be able to just click attach. Okay, so this is very straightforward. Uh, Here is the thing. There have been questions coming up. How do you upload an essay you wrote it with your hand? So you do the handwriting essay, use a phone. You can use any app that can scan. It could be Cam Scanner, it could be Adobe Scan on the phone. Just scan that essay that you've beautifully written with your hands and then save it as a PDF. Okay? Have that PDF available somewhere. And so when you get to this point, you'll simply click attach and you'll be able to upload. Okay? So that's how you're going to do it, okay? And it's very simple. So let's first go back to the academic sections. I don't have any report cards here, but I'm going to assume that these are my reports. So let's say I'm going for the senior four. I'll come and click upload a file, okay? I'll go to my computer. I'm going to look for my report card, okay? I'm going to look for my report card. So let's say that this here is my report card. Just give me a second. Let me find my report card. Okay. Okay, so I got my report. It's here. Okay, report is in PDF. Okay, so it's going to upload. I'll come to the next one here. I go and look for it from my computer. I put it there as well. And then I go and get my mock reports. Okay, I'll put it there as well. Now we have gotten instances where people saying that our senior four second term and mock results are the same. Or you only did one mock result, you just upload that here. Okay, so you can see once I upload all of this, I'll come and say next. Okay. All right. So in academic information here, you'll see that a few things are here. Now here, let me see, what are they asking for here? Come back here, school and demo. Okay, so report card. This one, academic information. Let's go next. Oh, I left out some information here earlier under that section. So I'll fill that again, my phone numbers, okay? So each time you experience an error, just read what the error message is telling you and then just respond accordingly, okay? Country code, Uganda, okay? Phone number, the same phone number here, okay? I don't have any, okay? Mailing address, okay? This is my city for the school. District is that. Leave that blank. Country is Uganda, okay? All right. And then that is the same. Save and continue editing. All right. Then from there, we'll say next. All right. So under academic, so, all right. Wait, I think I accidentally went back, so I undid the things that I did. I think that is why. So let's just go ahead. So I'll say mastery. I speak English. I don't play any musical instrument. And then I'll say mark as complete. All right. So my academic information is now complete. How do I know? I have this green circle with a tick. All right. That's how I know that this section is complete. And of course, you'll be able to view the report cards here as well, and you can re-download it. Okay. But from there, you want to now move to the next one. Okay. You want to now proceed to your essays. So personal information. So I'll come here and simply say attach, okay? And here you can see there are only three accepted formats. Just be a Word document, okay, or a PDF, okay, or a document coming in from any of the recent Office or Microsoft Office Word, word processors. So PDF is the most preferred option to make sure that the format doesn't change and any of that. Okay, so PDF, no one can edit it necessarily. So you can make sure that your essays are all in PDF. Okay, scan it after writing it, scan it in form of PDF using any mobile scanning solutions or apps like Cam Scanner or Adobe Scan, and you'll be able to save it as PDF so you can attach it here. So just click on attach, and when you click on attach, you will be able to come and you will be able to upload it. So let me just find my essay, and I'm going to attach it, open. All right. So you can see it's going to upload it, and boom, it just uploaded my essay. I'll say mark as complete. Each time you finish a task, mark it as complete. So my personal introduction is now complete. All right. I'll go to the next one. My first short essay. Okay. I'll go and look for it and click attach. I look for my essay. I'll open it. It's going to upload. Okay. Once it uploads, I'll say mark as complete. All right. That's why I was saying at the beginning that by the time you get to the application portal, make sure you have all the requirements ready. So it's very straightforward once you get to this point. You just upload your essays, okay? Make sure they're in PDF. Now you'll notice that I'm uploading each essay separately, okay? So make sure each essay is a separate document. Do not scan all the essays into one PDF. Make sure they're separate PDF documents. The same applies for the report cards. Make sure this each term is a separate report card so that you're able to upload them where they're supposed to be uploaded. Mark as complete. And then I will go and let's see. I'm going to now upload the personal reference. Okay. Now here, I'll come here and go and look for the recommendation. So let's say that's my recommendation. Okay. I'll say mark as complete. Okay. Now here you're able to attach multiple files. For the reference, you can actually attach multiple files. So if you have two references, you'll be able to upload both of them. Okay. Before you mark it as complete, you can actually upload two references here as once. Okay. Once that is done, you'll see that the last thing is now to upload a valid photo ID. Okay. And when we said any form of ID, it could be a student ID, refugee ID, national ID card ID, it could be a passport. If you don't have any of the above, in the rare situation you don't have any of those, and you have your data, your birth certificate, you can upload that. Okay, so I'll come here, and then I'm going to find my ID. So let me upload my national ID. All right. So, okay, I've gotten my national ID. It's going to upload. So that's my national ID. And then I'll mark as complete. Okay. So we have finished uploading all the requirements. And how do you know that? Here on the left, you'll see, you want to see this green circle, you want to see a tick in all of the requirements here. Tick, tick, tick. This is a tick. This is a tick. This is a tick, a tick, a tick. So everything has been ticked. I have successfully uploaded all the documents. I'm now ready to review and actually submit. Okay, so I can come here and say review before you submit. Remember, after submitting, you won't be able to make any changes. Okay, so that's very important. That's why the option for you to review is there. Okay, so you'll review the tasks. So all the tasks are here. You'll see that you'll be able to review your names, all the information, just to make sure that everything you have put is correct. Okay, so you have to review all these tasks carefully. Look at it carefully. Make sure there are no typos, there are no errors, and that you have entered the correct information. Okay, if you're comfortable enough with this and you feel confident that you have submitted the right things, okay, and then you will go ahead and of course be able to submit. Okay, so in my case, I feel happy. I then click submit your application. Please confirm. So again, we want to make sure that you're sure that you're ready to submit. I'm very sure I will submit. Okay, once I submit my application, congratulations, you have successfully applied for the UWC scholarship opportunity. Okay, so you should be able to see this page. Again, a tick here and application submitted. So this is confirmation that you have successfully submitted your application. And if you see this screen, it means that we have received your application. You will obviously receive an email automatically as well, confirming that you have submitted your application. And then we'll give you the information about what the next steps are. So you said you'll be contacted by Sunday 4th of Feb, and you'll be invited if you get shortlisted on the 10th or 11th of February in Kampala for interviews. Okay, and that is it. So you can now go to your applications and track the status of the application there as well. Okay, so you can see here it now says that my application is submitted. So here you can sit back, relax, and wait for us to get in touch with you about the outcome. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how you submit your application. So I'm going to stop it right there and take a few questions, and then we shall call it an evening. So I will stop sharing my screen now, and then I will pay attention to the questions. So let me, in the meantime, go and open the chat and see if we have any questions in the chat. And if you have a question, just feel free to raise your hand, your virtual hand. I'll ask you to unmute yourself and then ask your question away. Okay. All right. So let's see here. We have a few questions here in the chat. Let's see. Let me go to the very start. How will they notify successful applicants, especially those who will be in school by the 4th? Like I mentioned, we will notify you, one, via email. So if you have access to your email in school, you'll be able to go to Computer Lab and check it. But the other way, we have information from the school. You provide the details about the school. If that's not possible and the school is different, we have information from your parents as well. So that's why we're asking for all those details. So we have multiple touch points to reach you, even if you go back to school. All right. So that's how we shall be able to notify you. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. So let me see what's the next question here. Let's see here. Okay. I have found a problem in texting the phone numbers on my guardian and parent, but whenever I try out, they will tell me that it's wrong. Yes, so I think I just demonstrated how to enter the phone number with those hyphens. Okay, so make sure that you're able to use that. Okay. Is it possible to reapply in case a mistake has been made in the application? Is it possible to replace a document So once you submit, there's not much you can do. We have deactivated that. Write to us and let's see what we can do in that. That's a case by case basis. Okay. So that's why all the review processes are there to make sure that by the time you submit, you are actually sure that everything is in order. But in case of that, just do let us know. Send us a WhatsApp message. Okay. Uh, Emails, there's been a flood of emails. So chances are we might miss those emails. So WhatsApp is more prompt. Okay. So WhatsApp is actually the best because we can easily respond. When you do a phone call, everybody has been trying to call as well. So it's becoming, it's very hard to respond to all of them at once, especially people calling late in the night and all of that, because you're calling some people, right? They have a life too. So but WhatsApp messages, even if you send it late in the night, someone can look at it the next morning and respond, right? So be considerate as well as you're making those phone calls and queries. We understand that it can be quite stressful and you're under pressure, but it will be well. If you send us a message in WhatsApp, you will get a response. Okay, so it's easy for us to track and actually, make sure we're not missing any queries coming in. If you miss a phone call, it may be hard to call back and things like that. So WhatsApp is the most, perhaps the quickest way for us to respond to you in a very effective way. All right. So, all right. So for those who have already submitted, some people are saying, yeah, I typed. So, some of us did not carefully read the instructions instead of handwriting, they typed. So send us a message and let's see if we can, the system is able to, or perhaps you just email it to us once you do the handwritten one, but only before the deadline, which is Monday. Okay. Okay, phone contact of school. I sat, I haven't sat S4 yet. How may I complete this? So this is going to be your current school of senior 3 or the school you are in. Okay, that's the school contact that we'll need here if you haven't sat senior 4. If you have already filled in the part that said the class you are in is now S4, yet that is okay, no problem. We will understand that. If you said your current class is senior 4, but you already finished senior 4, no problem. We understand that your vacancy, if you mentioned that you're applying as having completed senior 4, we will automatically know that. What is the deadline for submitting applications? The deadline is Monday, the 29th at midnight. Okay. Do not wait until 11:50 on Monday and start fidgeting with the platform. You will most likely have issues because a lot of people wait for the last minute. The system is jammed, and then we're not able to support you. Okay, so I would say spend the weekend, use your weekend very, very productively. You have the whole of tomorrow and the whole of Sunday. Try to complete your essays, your applications, and everything submitted by Sunday or Monday morning. Do not wait until late in the evening on Monday, a few hours before the deadline, and start fidgeting with the platform. It's not going to work in the best favor for you. All right. So I strongly recommend that you use your weekend very productively and wisely. Okay. So that's the application deadline. What level of class do I put if I am in the last term of S4 but not yet completed? Put senior 4. Okay. Put your current class. We know that some of you will be completing maybe in June. Okay. If I completed S4, which report cards should I submit? Submit the report cards we're asking you for. As for term 1, term 2, and term 3 or mock results and the mock results. Okay. The reason we're asking for this report cards is because we understand that senior 4 results are not yet out. Okay. So we're asking for a few report cards that really give us a cumulative understanding of your performance for us to be able to gauge your potential in that sense. All right. Remember, the academic side of things just contributes about 40%. Okay, so we're looking for a lot of other things. We're looking for all-rounded students. Okay, very important to note. How do I get connected to you on WhatsApp? On the website, you'll see the numbers there on the call for application. If you go to submit, you'll see a document. You will be able to see the WhatsApp numbers there. Okay, the numbers there on WhatsApp. The Airtel number will directly reach me. The MTN number will reach someone. Preferably, if you're dealing on WhatsApp, send it to the Airtel number. Okay, so that you're not disturbing a lot of other people. The WhatsApp number will be the best for contacts, so that that one will be responding to you anytime. Okay, all right. On the application page, there is no space for S3 Term 3 report card for those in S4 equivalent. And what do we do if I finish S4 equivalent in June, but I've not yet done mock exams as of now? All right, so in that case, you will submit the most recent results. Just start going backwards from there. From the most recent, that's what's going to be as your mock, and then you just work backwards in that sense, okay? So the most recent available report cards for those of you who have not yet completed and will be finishing around June, okay? All right. Some of us, our S4 term 2 is the same as mocks. No problem. You can go ahead and submit that. Perhaps you can submit a senior 3/3 term as well, okay? What we really need here are consecutive results that really help us to understand your progress, as opposed to just basing on one report card in a sense. All right. So we want to have a comprehensive understanding of your academic performance. That's why we need this. What if I sent my S4, my final S4 results since I start IGSC? No problem. You can submit that as well. There's no problem with that. Good. So those are all the questions we have in the chat. Let me see if we have any hands raised. Do we have any questions from the audience? Perhaps you can unmute yourself and ask it. Otherwise, we will be bringing this particular webinar session to an end. And perhaps even as we do that, I would just want to say once again that thank you very much for your interest in UWC education. And we are always very, very impressed by the quality of applications, the essays. You really, really inspire us. And it's some of the things that every year we really, really look forward to this time of the year when we get to engage with amazing world changers like yourself. So we really, really encourage you to do not wait for the last minute to apply, okay? Make sure you submit your application either tomorrow or on Sunday, so that on Monday you have nothing to worry about, okay? And that will really, really work in your favor. We will be, again, like we said, communicating on those dates. So those dates won't change. The only date that has changed is the date of application deadline, which is now tomorrow, not tonight at midnight. It's going to be on Monday at midnight, okay? And that is because of the technical issue. All the other dates, the notification and all those will stick as they are. And we will be publishing the shortlist and then invite you. Now, in many cases, not everybody, like see, we only have 23 or 26 scholarships, and we're receiving hundreds of applications from amazing people. And maybe just a last word of encouragement, in the event that you do not, go through and get shortlisted, do not be discouraged. The fact that you're able to apply for this opportunity, we really believe in you. And we know that regardless, you are going to end up doing some amazing stuff in your community, and you're going to make Uganda proud someday. So whatever the outcome of this process is, we just want to encourage you that the future is very bright, and all of you give us so much hope. So do not let the outcome of this process in any way discourage you. All right. Just want to mention that because I know that we will not be shortlisting everyone. That is just the reality. But even if you do not get to that point of going to the interviews, we just want to really, really reiterate that we believe in you, and we know that you have the potential to do amazing stuff in your community, in Uganda, and beyond. So keep on pushing, and we will be cheering you on in whichever fora we end up, all right? With that, my friends, thank you again for your time, and I wish you all the very best as you complete your applications. Have a very, very wonderful evening. Cheers and bye.